Hi, dear Africa Business Jumpstarters. This is Dr. Harnet, your Africa Business Trainer and Success Coach, online and offline. Now, I'm in my hotel room again, but what is a first for me is that I'm shooting this video in the middle of the night. It is past 1 a.m. and I'm literally sitting under a lamp so you can see me. And I suddenly thought I should share some parts of my story. I remembered suddenly that one of the participants to our Rwanda business mission said, you know what, out of all the videos you have on YouTube, the one that I like most is the one you shot in Monaco, where you share your personal struggles. So Africa business information advice, all good, but it was really helpful to relate to your story. And that was really surprising. And so I thought, maybe I should just share more about how I got here. And here means now for me, financially free, on top of my game in regards to leading the life that I feel I was meant to lead. I created it by own design, leading an African business, making a contribution, and just enjoying life and growing. And well, it's not always been like that. And maybe you can relate to that if you feel kind of stuck at the moment. So in my case, I actually hit rock bottom. So I was not just stuck, I actually hit the ground. And there I was asking myself, how the hell did I get here? I grew up in one of the richest economies in the world, Germany, with peace, well educated. How on earth did I get here? That's the question I asked myself about, that's 5 years ago now. And, for me, the only way was up. Well, it doesn't always need to be that dramatic. For some of you, you may feel like, how the hell did I get here in regards to, a relationship that is just, I don't know, not working or toxic, or a job that you hate, or you feel like a robot every day, or you simply think like, I'm so stuck in comfort zone, and there's so much more that I have to give. Do I really want to work for this corporate company for the next 10, 20 years? And the answer may be no. Now, whatever that is, I think it's very important that we hold in life and that we ask ourselves, is this the life that I was meant to lead? Is this the life that I want to lead? I remember very often that, looking back, it was clearly not the life I wanted to lead, but somehow I didn't know how to change it, how to break out of it. And if you're in that situation now, or you're just thinking there's so much more to life, there's so much more I have to give, I want to create the life that I really meant to live, then maybe the tips that I'm sharing today will help you. And, they come from my heart, they come from my own experience. They, of course, not everyone's experience. So just take whatever you find useful and just chuck the rest. So I think for me, what was very important is that once I hit rock bottom and I said, how the hell did I get here? I made an unapologetic decision. Never, ever again. I made an unapologetic decision that I will turn my life around, no matter what it takes. Now, that unapologetic decision really meant that I didn't care what other people said or what their opinion was about where I was going. I didn't care about what was, happening in the news or what was really happening around me. I really just focused on my children because they were very little. They still are, but they were even smaller then. And I focused on my business. I basically didn't focus on anything else. Making an unapologetic decision at that time meant for me to go into isolation. And I needed that because, you see, very often we're so stuck in our ways, in our routine, in our habits, in, same places, same people, same things we talk about or engage in. And same thoughts, same mindset, same job, same holiday. And so we're so stuck in that, and it can be comfort zone. It can actually be quite comfortable if you have a good job and a good wage. But nevertheless, in order to change your life, you actually have to change you. There is a certain amount of transformation that needs to take place. For me, that was radical transformation, because I had an extreme poverty mindset, and I had hit rock bottom. So there wasn't much that I really wanted to keep, to be very honest. So in order to let that transformation happen, I needed to go into isolation. And I really believe that that is true to a certain extent for all of us. Because if you keep going with the same structure, same habits, same people, same ritual, same kind of routine, guess what? The outcome will be the same. So in order to make change, you actually have to change a lot of aspects in your life. And that starts with changing yourself, growing yourself into a different version of you. And I found that it required isolation. So that was part of my unapologetic decision, because first, it was quite radical. And second, it wasn't easy. And third, a lot of people didn't like it. They're like, who are you? We don't know you anymore. But for me, it required that. And you need to find out what making an unapologetic decision means to you. Making an unapologetic decision for me also meant that there wasn't a plan B. And very often it is actually easier to come from a point of crisis or having hit rock bottom than still being in your comfort zone with the stable job and all that, because then you always kind of have a plan B and you fall back on that. So I think it was actually helpful that I didn't have that, and I also made sure I didn't create a plan B, such as starting to look for a job. Now, what else? During the early stages of my business, I decided that I would follow successful people, study them, and just copy what they do. No questions asked. I wouldn't question why they meditate. I wouldn't question why they created certain goal settings. I wouldn't question why they had productivity hacks, or why they did fitness in the morning, or, all that. I just studied and I copied. So that was an interesting part of the journey, because really it didn't just help me to start and build a successful business. It helped me to stay sane, because there was a routine with very positive rituals and habits. But above all, it helped me to become a better and more balanced person. And that is an amazing side effect. So by really starting to put these success habits into place, I became so much more balanced as a person, so much more empowered. So that's something else I did. And in general, a lot of work went into actually building myself. And it was into, 2-3 years in that I realized whenever I got stuck in my business, there was actually something stuck in me. And while in the beginning I tried to fix whatever wasn't working in the business, I later understood that I need to fix something in me, and then the business would follow. The business success would follow. And that is a huge eye-opener. It changed completely how I went about progress. It wasn't so much about the business hacks. It was more about growing myself as a businesswoman, as a person, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, being equipped with the business mindset and the success mindset as well. And the success of the business would follow gradually. And I think that goes hand in hand with what I said in the very beginning, that if you want to change your life around, it really means to change yourself, to transform yourself. It starts with that. And the more you are proud of who you are right now and you're holding on to, well, that's me, that's just how I am. Well, the question is, has it been working for you so far? And maybe keep the things that have, but be very determined to change other aspects around. And that requires to take an unapologetic decision. It requires to take the space and the time away from the noise, away from other people, to transform yourself, to work on yourself. And to always understand that the business growth and the business success will follow your own personal growth, never the other way around. So that was a huge insight. I think what really helped me in the beginning, because believe you me, the first 2 to 3 years were the most difficult. I had no idea what I was doing. I was kind of still all over the place, and I was entertaining different business models, ideas all the time, which kind of distracted me. And it was tough. It was really, really tough because I put in so much time and energy, lots of hours. I would work 15, 18 hours, 12 hours at a minimum. I was obsessed to change my life around. And I think it required that input in the beginning. And now I can enjoy the financial freedom. Now I can enjoy the time. Now I can enjoy the money and the time and the ease of mind and, creating my own life. But in the beginning, it wasn't like that. In the beginning, it was the hassle. It was the grinding. It was the doubts. It was the constantly pushing against obstacles. It was hard. And it took a huge amount of inner strength. And where did my inner strength come from? It came from my unapologetic decision, never, ever again. There was no plan B. So can you see how they're all kind of linked to each other? And maybe lastly, I think, actually to add, one of the quotes that I really, really like, or I don't know if it's a quote or a wisdom, but they say an entrepreneur is someone who does in the beginning what the majority of people would never do, so that he or she, the entrepreneur, can live the rest of his or her life in a way that the majority of people would never able to live it. I hope I summed it up, quite well. So really what it takes is, in the beginning, it takes an enormous amount of self-education, of learning, of changing your ways. It takes an enormous amount of energy and input. And most people don't feel comfortable with putting so much in. And hence most people either never start or they stop when the doubts become too big, or when the obstacles become too big. They stop, they quit. One wisdom that kind of kept me sane was that I heard somewhere someone said, well, an entrepreneur is someone who does things in a way and to an extent that the masses would never do it, in order to live the rest of his or her life in a way that the masses would never be able to. So I knew that it required a lot of input and effort in the beginning. And one of my online coaches, at that time I only had online coaches, actually said, the struggle in the beginning is part of the journey. It will feel hard, it will feel impossible, you're close to giving up, march through it anyway. And just that knowledge that someone said, it is part of the journey. It is part of the journey to success, the hardship, the doubts, the wanting to give up, march through it anyway, because after that, the success will follow. And there's a kind of a, like a and almost like an equal line, that you will hardly feel any improvements and any growth, any progress. But when you keep going and keep marching, there will come a point where it just shoots up. And I can really attest to that. It is true. The fact that I knew that kept me in the game, because believe you me, there were times where I was, hitting the table and biting the pillows because it was so hard. And I was like, I'm doing so much, I'm working so hard. Where the hell is the return? When can I just breathe? And I kept marching through that because I knew it was part of the journey. Well, it doesn't need to be as dramatic for everyone, I guess. But, I had quite a lot of transforming to do to change my life around. And even now, I want to go bigger and bigger and bigger for the simple reason that I want to make an impact. I want to make a lot of money for myself, but you know what? There's only so much you really need in life. Above that, that money is to make an impact, to help change the world. And money can actually do that. So that's why I want to grow big, and that requires of me again and again to boost through my limitations and to continue to grow. It's a never-ending journey, but now I don't have the stress anymore. I don't have the pain anymore. Now I do it with much more ease because I know what to do. The doubts will always come back. That's part of any growth, I guess. But I'm much more equipped now in regards to making that journey than I was in the beginning. So, dear Africa Business Jumpstarters, these were just some thoughts I thought I should share with you in the middle of the night. Here you go. Wherever you are in life right now, it doesn't matter what happened to you. The only thing that matters is what you make out of it. Remember, even the rich and successful are getting hit by tragedies and fear and things that just happen in the family or in the economy or whatever that is. Everyone in that regard is treated equal by life. The question is, what will you make out of it? How will you respond? I was stranded with 2 little children and nothing else really. I had to start from scratch. What worked for me is that I did that in a country where I have peace and, women get supported. That certainly helped me. Everything else, it had to come from my inner determination and strength. No one else could motivate me or kind of make that happen for me. I had to do it myself. The outcome, oh my God, it's so worth it. It is so worth it. I'm finally leading the life that I feel I meant to lead. I'm contributing towards our beautiful continent of Africa, if it's even just in very small, humble ways. And you can do the same, no matter where you are in life, not just geographically, I mean where you are on your journey. Now, no matter how many obstacles you see in your life right now, and things may seem so hopeless to you, remember, there is a way. Just find that path within you and be determined to make an unapologetic decision to lead the life of your dreams. That's it from me. Good night. Bye-bye.